back, everyone. You know, Donald Trump has been reelected, and here to talk about that is Dr. Bill Angel. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
All right. So, what do you think happened with Kamala Harris and her party? And
well, I was watching late last night, and one of the things that caught my attention was that you compare the Hillary Clinton vote of 2016 to the Kamala Harris vote in 2020. There are a lot of similarities, and especially in terms of among women, various constituencies, various states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and so forth. And I began to think that, well, maybe it's just that Americans have a problem with a woman being president. But I think it's more complicated than that, largely because one of the issues that Trump raised was, of course, inflation, the economy, state of the economy, and of course, immigration, crime, and so on. And so the idea of the suburban white woman voter is really more complicated and is affected by those kinds of issues.
Yeah.
And so the white suburban vote, a women vote, did not turn out quite as strongly as it had in the midterm elections of 2022.
Yeah, and you think that possibly Kamala Harris and the team thought maybe they're going to expand their message to those voters more.
Yeah, but to some degree, Trump broke into that because, you know, with raising the issue of inflation, raising the issue of immigration, and toward the end he talked about being women's protector. You know, it's a patronizing statement, to be sure, but I think a lot of white suburban women were caught up in that.
Yeah, what do you think about if Joe Biden would have dropped out earlier? As he said he was going to be a one-term president, and then he went on saying, I'm going to run again, and you know what happened.
I think, you know, again, that's another complicating factor, because how do you get a president to stand down? I mean, how do you say, hey, Joe, you need to stand down, you're not up to the job anymore? I think, yes, you're right. That had there been a legitimate primary process, a nomination process, it would have worked a little bit differently. But you know, when he resigned, there was like this breath of fresh air. Everybody rushed to Kamala Harris, and then gradually over time, doubts began to seep in.
Yeah, I don't know if she had the time to maybe get herself known to the public, or
well, part of it was she was tied to Joe Biden. I mean, despite the fact that, you know, she was, of course, in charge of immigration, and that became a big issue, but I think she was tied to the Biden presidency, and so she was tied to his record, and that's hard to break away. It's real hard.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard for a vice president to run and win an election while he or she is still vice president.
Right.
And that was currently the I mean, the only person who's done that recently was George H.W. Bush in 1988 against Michael Dukakis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard if you're a vice president to return to office as president.
Right. And also, you know, we've been dealing with inflation, and Donald Trump has said pretty much that he could fix that, right?
Well, I mean, there was a general feeling that Trump was better able to manage the economy. But if you look at what had happened during his term in office, it wasn't all that great. There were a lot of payoffs with the wealthy and so on.
Yeah. So what do you think is the main issue that people swung one side towards the other? Like, you know, is it money? Is it, you know, is it immigration? Or is it just all of the above? Security, feeling safe and secure?
I think that was it. I think there was a lack of security, a certain anxiety, especially around the economy. I mean, inflation that had a real impact on family budgets. And I think the immigration issue, which I think was probably overblown, but it's a kind of a scare tactic that Trump was able to use rather effectively.
Yeah. I mean, the economy's been doing pretty well, I would say. You know,
that's statistics,
right?
I mean, but if you're sitting trying to put a grocery list together, it doesn't quite look that way.
Exactly, and of course we've all been hearing about like shrinkflation. You know, where they put less and you're paying more, and you know, and it really does hurt the pockets.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
to be sure.
Yeah. So, what do you think coming up? You know, the first 100 days. Do you think it'll be an exciting 100 days?
I think it will be a challenging for 100 days. I think if Trump had said he was going to do major things, especially to the things like the Justice Department and so on, I think it's going to be a challenging especially for liberal Democrats.
Well, and also to mention the wars that are happening, Russia, Ukraine, Israel.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be a tough tackle.
I think Ukraine is going to be harmed by this. the war in Ukraine is going to be undermined by the Trump administration.
Yeah, well, Bill, we'll have to see what comes out. Well, we got 4 years to figure it out.
Yeah, we sure do.
All right, well, thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, don't go away because medical news is coming up next.